In this section of the sentences chapter, I have an activity called Combining Sentences in which I walk through the metacognitive steps you need to know in order to combine sentences. If your students write choppy sentences and you feel like you're reading a list, this activity is for them. The goal is to take those choppy sentences that read like a list, identify a couple of them, and combine them together. Now you may have a short sentence, and suddenly a long sentence, and maybe a short sentence and another long sentence. What this does is it creates a pace. It creates a beat in the writing. Instead of this list feeling, now you're going to have a pace, a flow, and the different lengths of sentences create a flair and personality. You can use this activity not only to show students how to combine their sentences, but I highly suggest that you pull the sentences from their writing in order for them to combine and then put back into their writing using these steps. You see the black line master that students will use when they first are learning this activity, with the steps up at the top, how they walk through these specific steps in order to combine two sentences. Below that, you see two charts, which are also black line masters, that the students are going to utilize in order to put these two sentences together. Let's walk through the steps. First step we need to do is we need to just figure out what sentences do we need to combine. So you may have a short paragraph that has many choppy sentences in it. And in this particular case, we took these two sentences from a paragraph that had information about a turtle and how a turtle has a certain type of shelter. And in this information, one of the sentences read, "The turtle dug a hole. It needed a cool place to hibernate." Those were two sentences that were very choppy in our paragraph. We took them out. And then the first thing I said was, okay, so we're going to connect a turtle dug a hole, it needed a place to hibernate. Which one should go first? And we decided the turtle dug a hole should go first. So we wrote that on line 1. On line 2, we wrote, it needed a cool place to hibernate. There's our first step. We identify the sentences, we pull them out, we decide which one we want to go first, which one second, re-record it on our sheet. This sheet is temporary. Eventually, you're just going to do this in your head. But this is so that students can learn the steps and have those steps mastered before they actually apply it in their head to their own writing. The next step in this metacognitive activity is to read that first sentence. The turtle dug a hole. What is this sentence about? It's about the turtle digging that hole. All right, so let's circle that part of the sentence. We know that's the meaning part of our sentence. The next step is to read the second sentence. Then give it a job. What do I mean by a job? I'll tell you in a moment. It needed a cool place to hibernate. I've read that second sentence. Now I have to figure out, this first sentence is about the turtle digging a hole. This one is telling me the turtle needed a cool place to hibernate. What is the job of this sentence, this second sentence? Let's go down to our two sheets here. This second sentence job is adding an idea to that first sentence. Or the second sentence job is sequencing, telling what happened next. Or the second sentence is giving another choice. You could have the second sentence is contrasting, telling the opposite of what was in the first sentence. Or you could have the second sentence is giving a reason for the previous sentence. So we go back here and we say this sentence is about the turtle dug a hole. Then the second sentence is telling us he needed a cool place to hibernate. What's the job of this sentence? Is it telling us a choice, or is it telling us the reason why it dug a hole? It's telling us the reason why it dug a hole. It dug a hole because it needed a cool place to hibernate. Once we know the job, then we have words right underneath that job that can connect the two sentences together. If your second sentence is giving a reason, you could try to connect those two sentences together with because, so, for, or to. Let's practice using the different words and see which one we like best. The turtle dug a hole because it needed a cool place to hibernate. That sounds good. The turtle dug a hole, so it needed a cool place to hibernate. Doesn't sound right. 4, it needed a cool place to hibernate. 2, needed a cool place to hibernate. I think we like the word because. That makes sense. We're going to write because here. So we have the turtle dug a hole because it needed a cool place to hibernate. We are connecting these two sentences together, so what do we need to do? Get rid of that period and change the capital of the second sentence into a lowercase because it no longer starts a second sentence. And that was our step 4, where we identified our word, put it on our paper, connected the two sentences together, cross out the period, change the capital to a lowercase, and here's our new sentence. The turtle dug a hole because it needed a cool place to hibernate. There's our steps that you can follow to help students combine their sentences. This is a temporary activity. You want students to eventually be able to, in their head, identify a couple of sentences, look at the find the job, then glue charts for the different jobs and words that will connect their sentences together, and then do it on their own. On the next 2 pages in this section are the black line masters of words that will combine the sentences. These are the 2 charts where we find the job of the second sentence, and notice the words that are in italics are the jobs. Then we glue. The connecting words are the glue. They're the words that are going to glue together the 2 sentences into one. The black line master to provide children to walk through this activity. What I would suggest that you do is laminate this. That way you could have students write in their 2 sentences, find the job, write their connecting word, so that they can take their choppy sentences, put them into a longer, more sophisticated sentence, and then this can be reused over and over again. When you write down those choppy sentences, make sure that the second sentence that you give the students will have varying jobs. A job that will say the opposite of what the preceding sentence is. A job that will be an addition to what's in the second sentence. Or a job in which they have to choose between items from the 2 sentences. Make sure that you have different jobs so they can practice finding the different jobs on the chart and using the connecting words. This could be an independent activity or center your students could utilize. You would have several examples of choppy sentences, and your students could then take those 2 sentences and walk through the process to make longer sentences. It's a great way for your students to practice again these steps they need to master in order to combine sentences. And remember, combining those short, choppy sentences that read like a list will transform your students' writing into writing that has style and flair and pace, and it flows and is enjoyable to read.